Texas star wide receiver A.D. Mitchell has had quite the pre-draft process. Some talent evaluators and scouts view Mitchell as the next CeeDee Lamb, and others compare him to be the next T. Higgins. Now that is quite the comparison for A.D. Mitchell. And the athletic testing is one of the reasons why Mitchell's stock is rising this pre-draft process. At the NFL Combine, he posted a 4.35 40-yard dash with a vertical jump of 39 and a half, a broad jump of 11 foot 4 inches, standing at 6'2", 205. All of that combined, Mitchell's relative athletic score is a 9.97. So we're going to find out, does the film do the hype and the comparison justice in the That's Textbook Sports film breakdown? Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate those of y'all that are tuning in right now. And as you heard in the introduction, we're going to be doing a Texas wide receiver Adonai Mitchell film breakdown. During the pre-draft process, he's gained a lot of attention, rising up draft boards. A lot of talent evaluators have compared him to really great wide receivers in the league right now. So we're going to see how he does up against two very talented first-round corners in Terrion Arnold, Kool-Aid McKinstry, see what he has in the toolbox, and all of those sorts of things. So let's break it down. This first play right here, he's going up against Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's a crossing route, outside leverage from the corner with a crossing route as a wide receiver. We love that. We can win with that type of leverage. So let's see how A.D. Mitchell does. Gives them a little move, right? Get the cornerback stumbling a little bit, get them off their platform. That's a great right there. Gets a stumble out of it. Sometimes you're going to stumble out of these breaks. Of course, we don't want it to be all the time, and we want to limit it to very few. But you have to work with the circumstances. If that does happen, can you recover? He does. And now he's got a step on the cornerback. So when you're playing wide receiver, you have to understand the comfortability and how a cornerback uh, attacks their craft. So if you're running this crossing route, the first thing you want to do is sell vertical. Because if you're selling vertical, then the defensive back is going to react with you and want to get recovery speed, especially if you have a step on him like Mitchell does. So when you're selling vertical and you're running that crossing route, the finishing touch is to snap it off, get that angle and that path window for the quarterback to throw you the football. We see Mitchell, he's got a step, and then now snap it off to have that angle right there or that window for the quarterback to throw you the ball. Doesn't go his way, but a great rep up against a really good corner from A.D. Mitchell. Now let's move on to the next one. This next play I absolutely love from A.D. Mitchell because it shows the things that wide receivers have to do, like blocking, that don't get a whole lot of attention. And especially if you're an offensive coordinator and you draft a wide receiver, right? They're a rookie. They have to learn the ropes first, right? They have to gain that respect throughout from the coaches, throughout the locker room, and that starts with blocking. And if you're a team that your running game isn't going well, and you use short extensions of the run like end arounds, bubble screens, and you have wide receivers that can block on the perimeter, it just makes your overall unit that much better. So let's watch this blocking effort from A.D. Mitchell right here. He's going up against McKinstry again. He gets in phase, right? And what wide receiver coaches teach wide receivers is to just stay in phase, move your feet a little bit. That's what Mitchell does. Stays in phase. He gets hands on the corner. The second key thing with blocking, especially if you're a wide receiver, is we know your wide receivers, not like offensive linemen, they're not going to be moving anyone off their platform, right? If they do, that's an extra benefit. But to be able to shield your hips to give the ball carrier a path. And that's what he does, shields his hips. You can see he's got his feet back right here, using power, doing an anchor. Really nice block from A.D. Mitchell right there. And now again, another blocking play from A.D. Mitchell. Probably watching all these wide receivers and seeing their blocking reps, this one has to be my favorite from all wide receivers because it's not just him out on the boundary up against a corner, right? He is close to the line of scrimmage, close to the tight end, tackle. And what he's going to be doing is setting the edge on number 13 right here. And let's watch it break down or unfold. And like I was talking about, right? If you're blocking on that boundary, some wide receivers, they're not going to be moving guys off their spot, right? Well, just look at the hole and opportunity that AD Mitchell creates for the ball carrier. So he moves number 13 way off. He puts him back to where the tackle is, right? And even then some. Look at that path in that lane for the ball carrier to go. Really nice play. The blocking from AD Mitchell is going to translate into the NFL. If I had to compare him to a wide receiver that's blocking now, I would say very reminiscent of George Pickens when blocking. So this play, the ball doesn't go to AD Mitchell, and the play design really in and of itself isn't designed to go his way. Texas is going to be running RPO, so run option with the back, have these linemen get some depth. Right here, the wide receiver to the bottom of the screen, going to be running this like screen or in breaking route. But watch AD Mitchell right here up to the top of the screen. And how he wins with the release, his suddenness and quickness to go 0 to 60 out of these breaks, really impressive. And it just showcases more as you watch the film from him at Texas. So watch him right there in the circle to the top of the screen. Little stutter move, kind of like like that basketball crossover move or even a rocker step. And watch the corner right there that he's going up against. Gonna get absolutely turned around, put on skates. You see Mitchell pointing at him. So when you watch AD Mitchell's film, this play, it really pops out because it is it's a great play by AD Mitchell, but it's also fantastic coverage from the defensive back. Remember, it's he's going up against Alabama. These are two corners that are first round corners. All right. Some have them going in the top 10, top 15, really excellent corners, right? So we have AD Mitchell on a go route. The leverage really isn't catered to one side. It's pretty even. It's man up right here. So we're gonna see him just go. Doesn't really give him a whole lot of move, and we know with college and the hash marks to the sideline, the space is very condensed. So we get hand fighting from both of them right there. We see McKinstry with his left hand, Mitchell with his right hand. We see the hand fighting, and right there, 100% covered coverage, right? It's blanketed coverage. Ball's going 80s Mitchell's way. Still the same thing, blanketed coverage. But then we see that go get it mentality from a wide receiver that he has, and then the late hands. Like I was talking about with the Dunze film. A lot of times when you're running these deep routes, it's going to be blanketed coverage. So to make the play or to still make the play, we have to use late hands. That's what Mitchell does right here. Really impressive. And then we see it from this back view. If we go frame by frame, still blanketed coverage, puts his hands out up until the last second when that ball is getting right there. Because we know the defensive backs in that type of situation in phase, they're going to be playing the eyes and the hands. Puts his hands out at the last second. And then it's also about protecting yourself as a wide receiver too, a unlearned trait. So Mitchell goes up, jumps, dives to go get the football. If he still stays in this position right and doesn't turn or twist his body with the ball right there, it probably gets dislodged on impact when he hits the ground, turns incomplete. But if you turn your body and land on your shoulder blade kind of area right there, you can still protect yourself and make the catch. He gets that shoulder. It's good in the NFL. And again, just that the late hands and the mentality when attacking the football, all going to translate for Mitchell. So I'll tell you the basic what AD Mitchell is running on this play, and I'll let it play first, then give my evaluation. So AD Mitchell right here to the bottom of the screen, he's going to be running this um, in route right here, about to where the 45-yard line is. You can't see it right now, and now I'll let it play. Okay. So if we go back to it, as a wide receiver, there's also right, we talk about the leverage that you have to and how leverage sometimes dictates your route, dictates the plan that you have for running a certain route. Also, also a thing about blind spots. So when a cornerback gets into this kind of technique right here, where they have their hips shaded to one sideline, their left or right shoulder is facing you, there is the opportunity for the blind spot. And let me play it a little bit more so you can see. So right here, right in this moment, right? The blind spot is from their number right here all the way to their right shoulder in this situation for AD Mitchell. So he can attack this blind spot. Instead of stemming inside, he can give like a little move to make the corner to the outside to make the corner think, "Oh, it's an outside route. I got to flip my hips." Or when you get into that blind spot, right? There's a reason why it's called the blind spot because they can't see from that area. Instead, he doesn't attack it, and he still go. Listen, he's got separation, right? And he starts his break at the 49, ends up at the 45. But even though he didn't use a blind spot, he still got some separation. He goes out with his hands right in those situations. We don't want to basket catch it. Goes out with his hands. It still winds up to be incomplete. But I think where this route could have been successful or this play could have been successful is just manipulating that blind spot, getting up onto the corner's toes, and instead of going inside right here or getting on this path, let's get to where that number three is and to where the right shoulder are. Give them a rocker step, a move to the outside, make them try to flip their hips, uh, react, second guess. Then we have this opportunity. And you could also make the case too that well, if he starts the break at the 49 when he drops his hits and he's ending up right here at the 45, he could have condensed it right here to about the 47, 48. Yeah, but then you also have to worry about this safety right here coming down and breaking down the play. So just something he can, I think, learn from and then apply at the next level. On this play, Mitchell is going up against Terry and Arnold. Some draft evaluators have Arnold as the best cornerback and the first cornerback taken in this draft class. But right here, AD Mitchell, it just showcases him winning with his suddenness and twitch. So as we break this play down right here, it's outside leverage. AD Mitchell is going to be running the post. He also knows he has to worry about this defender right here because they're over the top. Gives him a little stutter move, and then he ran a 4.35 40 at the NFL Combine. So we know he has that speed and deep threat. He's able and his ability to stack, like we look at the 40, run the 4.35, and then his ability to stack, like that goes hand in hand. Very valuable to have as a wide receiver at the next level. Beats Arnold, and then I think this play ended up being a pass interference, but you just see the speed that he has, and then beating up, winning up against a very talented corner. Again with AD Mitchell, it's the suddenness, but also with this play, I like how he attacks the corner right here because he's going to be running another post, go, seam route. So it's a deep route, right? And we see this cornerback right here, McKinstry, he's way inside leverage. Now watch the pass. So like when I talk about pass, I'm talking about you have straight on to the right lane and the left lane. We have Mitchell right here, right? So just watch the path and how he attacks the corner. Because to win on this route, if we go outside, the corner with that leverage is just going to ride us all the way to the sideline, and we're not going to be able to win on the route. But watch what Mitchell does. See, he starts to attack their leverage inside right here, and you can see right, he started about somewhere right here. Now the path that he ends up is inside. And we see, look at how much room now he's created outside to the boundary over here to the sideline. Gives him a little move that, like, it's not a whole lot with the moves. Like, is it the most shiftiest? No. And you can obviously make the argument that it is. But from what I've seen, there's guys a little bit more shiftier. But the sudden move, and then look at the separation he's created already right off the bat. If that ball goes to him, it's a touchdown. Again, a nice play from AD Mitchell. The suddenness that he has and IQ of where to attack the corner is going to translate in the NFL. And so when I evaluate uh, potential or college wide receivers going into the NFL, the thing I like to pay attention to is how well can they beat press coverage, especially at the goal line, right? Because that's at the goal line, that's where a good portion and a good chunk of the touchdowns come from, right? So if you can win at the goal line, you can cement yourself as a wide receiver one in this league. So here we are. He's going to be running. It's an option, and he's going to be running this post. Texas is going to want to get this player right here, the safety, to come down a little bit. But watch his plan, approach, attack, and the suddenness that he has to win the rep. Little hop step right. Devontae Adams is famous for doing that move. And watch how much he's able with his shoulders, hips, and this plant foot right here to go through that side, threaten the corner's leverage, make them get off their platform. So that way you have this lane right here, the quickness, and look at that. He's got, yards of separation, and it results in an easy touchdown. Another thing that I like with AD Mitchell is that a lot of wide receivers are taught you sell things with your shoulders, your hips, and your head, right? But as much as you sell it, it can also be an indicator. And he rarely times, especially in these goal line situations when it's one-on-one man coverage, if you pay attention very closely, he's not given an indication with his hips, shoulders, or head of where he's going to go. Right here, the last play that we're going to analyze from the Alabama game, he's going to be running another post, and it's very similar to the play we broke down just a couple minutes ago when he's going up against Kool-Aid McKinstry, where he threatens the corner's leverage. He goes on a different path. Then that suddenness that he has when the route. So we're going to see it again on full display. Cornerback is an outside leverage. Watch him attack. He's going to start right here, even with these hashes. Goes, attacks the cornerback, presses on their feet right now. And that's a good distance. When wide receiver coaches talk about you want to press up on their toes, that's the exact distance you want to have right there. Then you can make your move. You've also got enough space where you can swat their hands away if they decide to put hands on you and get physical. And just the suddenness that he wins with these reps. And look at all of that separation that he has. Now, in some instances, when you're a wide receiver and you're that open, the ball's going to you, sometimes the catch gets a little bit harder because everybody in the whole arena on the sidelines is expecting you to make that catch. This isn't the most accurate throw, and it showcases the ball tracking that Mitchell has. So he's having to look for it over his shoulder, catches it, and he catches it over his shoulder, almost by his hips, I think. If I go back a little bit, wins with the separation. Yeah, well, not by his hips, but he's catching it right there by his shoulders, over his right shoulder, with it in the hands. An impressive play from Mitchell. Just not a whole. It leaves you pretty speechless, I'll say. But also the thing I like to pay attention to is his stride. Right, he runs a 4.35, and we're watching this game. We're like, it doesn't feel he's given like he's going top speed, right? Like we see some wide receivers, you can see that like, oh, okay, it looks like it's giving full effort. But right here, he's just so smooth and relaxed in his stride that cornerbacks, they look for indications of what route you're going to run because a lot of wide receivers branch it off of their routes off of the same thing and similar moves. But it's hard to get a read on AD Mitchell, especially with his smooth stride. Right here, it's again another route. One because of his suddenness, and the way he can manipulate some corners into thinking he's running one route, but then at the last second go a different direction. So here, as we watch Mitchell, it's inside leverage, right? So he's going to give that look to the fade. And the cornerback doesn't bite on it, right? That's a good position for the cornerback to be in. But then the speed out of the break and that transition that he has, now he's created separation. That's great separation for the goal line, and it results in an easy touchdown. So the last play right here of this film breakdown from A.D. Mitchell, it just shows he is a master of deception and a master of disguise because we've seen him repeatedly, right, run those slant routes, especially at the goal line and in the red zone, and be able to win off of it. So as a wide receiver, when I talk about you're branching your routes off of the same things, well, when you do that repeatedly and you get really good at it, now you can take it a step forward. So Mitchell, he's going to be running that post route, right? It's going to look like it's going to be that post route. But then for this play, he's going to break it off to the outside. So a corner will watch film and say, oh, he gives this move, and that's how he's going to the slant. So let's watch it break down, right? Oh, it looks like it's going to be a slant. He uses that move. He still wins, right? And he gets that separation. Now he's going to branch it off. And look at the corner. He's going full speed that way. He's able to branch it off, and he's wide open at the corner for a touchdown. If it's an accurate throw, that's the only thing bad about this play is the throw's inaccurate. But if it was, it goes up on the highlight reel for a touchdown. All right, so that is a wrap for the A.D. Mitchell film breakdown. What are some things he does well? Something he does fantastically well, and number one for me is separation. Then we have suddenness, pace, and stride. It is very difficult to get a read on what type of route Mitchell is going to run. Twitch, he gets out of his breaks faster than he gets into them. Blocking, and then lastly for me, it's the way he can make some routes look very similar and then to be able to branch them off. Like we saw him win a lot with that slant route. And then the last play we broke down, he used that slant route, but then branched it off with the out route to the pylon. Really, those are things he's going to do fantastically well at the NFL. And then let's look at some things he needs to work on. I'd say within this film breakdown and what I've seen, it's the snap down. I haven't seen a whole lot of him, with that violent snap down. And then secondly, it's going to be yards after the catch. Now he does have suddenness and twitch, which can benefit him in yards after the catch, but there's a difference in those two things with route running as it pertains to yards after the catch. So something he'll need to work on there or improve upon. Now, is he the next CeeDee Lamb? And we've seen a lot of people compare him to T. Higgins being the popular one, and then CeeDee Lamb. I see the Higgins comparison a lot more than I do with CeeDee Lamb because with CeeDee Lamb, they're both very polished route runners, but I'd pick Lamb coming into the NFL as a route runner over Mitchell, and then Lamb just has that speed, that yards after catch, right? Now with T. Higgins, that's a little bit closer to an exact comparison because they're both really tall wide receivers. They're physical at the catch point. They can get separation. They have that twitch burst out of their routes. But I think an exact and a close to exact comparison for me, as a matter of fact, these two played college ball at Georgia, is George Pickens because you look both really physical in unexpected catch percentage. I think these two are going to be top five, if not maybe one and two when it comes to the NFL because they make difficult and unexpected catches look very easy. They have really good hands. They can catch it over their shoulder and in a multitude of positions and ways. Then they also have a little bit of twitch to them, right? When it comes to separation, getting in and out of their breaks. That to me is a exact and as close to exact comparison as it can be. Now, where is he going to get drafted? As of right now, I would say the betting favorite is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I don't see A.D. Mitchell falling out of the top 20 or falling past pick 23. In my evaluation, as it stands right now, I have him ranked as the fifth best wide receiver in this draft class, and he's got star potential. The team that drafts him is going to be very happy. He has a lot of strengths and not a whole lot of flaws in his game as it pertains right now. And that is it. I appreciate my audience, those of y'all who went watched the whole entire video, um, and who've watched my podcast, followed me on this channel since we started just a couple months ago. Appreciate all y'all. It means a lot to me. Make sure you follow me on social media. The addresses in the description are, the addresses are in the description. If you don't check the description, I'll just tell you right now, the addresses to all my social media is at textbook_sports. So go ahead, follow me there. I'm on TikTok, Twitter a lot, Instagram. So make sure you check that out. Hit the subscribe button, like this video, be a friend, tell a friend, share this podcast out to others. And yeah, like I said, appreciate all of y'all. Y'all mean a lot to me from the bottom of my heart. And God bless. And until next time, deuces.